Good morning, dear students. We are at the third module and we are going to start the topic how were states to be formed. Now, children, back in 1920s in the Indian National Congress, the main party of the freedom struggle, they had promised that once the country will get independence, each major linguistic group, fine, whatever language group will be there, they would get their own province, fine. Now, however, after independence, the Congress did not take any step to honor this promise. They have promised previously, but now after independence, they were not working on it. Fine. For India had been divided on the basis of religion, despite the wishes and efforts of Mahatma Gandhi. Freedom have come, but not to one nation, but to two nations. Now, what Mahatma Gandhi wanted, he wanted unity, but freedom had come to India, but it had differentiated us, means it had come to two nations, two religions, Hindus and Muslims, fine, Hindustan and Pakistan. As a result of the partition of India, more than million people had been killed in riots, children. Between Hindus and Muslims, riot took place, more than million of people they died. Could the country afford further divisions on the basis of languages? Now, on the religions, already the country has faced the division, but now could they be able to divide themselves on the basis of languages now? Both Prime Minister Nehru and Deputy Prime Minister Vallabhbhai Patel, they were totally against the creation of linguistic states. After the partition, Nehru said disruptionist tendencies had come to the fore. To check them, the nation had to be strong and united, or as Patel put it, the first and the last need of India at the present moment is that it should be made a nation. Everything which helps the growth of nationalism has to go forward. Everything which throws obstacle in its way had to be rejected. We have applied this test to linguistic provinces also, and by this test, in our opinion, they cannot be supported. So, even both of them, the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister, they were totally against it. They were saying that in spite of working on all these silly things, we should work for the development, fine. That the Congress leaders would now go back on their promise created great disappointment, fine. The Kannada speakers, the Malayalam speakers, the Marathi speakers, they all look forward to having their own state. They all were thinking about their own state. The strongest protest, it came from Telugu speaking districts of what was the Madras Presidency. Now, when Nehru went there for campaign during the general elections in 1952, people, met him with black flags, and the slogans they demanded, we want Andhra. So, in October, same that year only, a veteran Gandhian named the Poti Siraru, he went on a hunger strike. Fine. He went on a hunger strike and he demanded the formation of Andhra state and protect the interest of Telugu speakers. As the fast went on, it attracted much supporters. People started supporting him. Hartals, bands were observed in many towns, and children on 15 December 1952, 58 days into his fast, he died. Sirura Malu died. Now, just think, now what will happen? As a newspaper put it, the news of passing away of Sirara Mulu, it it shrink the entire Andhra. Every people was in every each and every people became sad. So this protest was so widespread, and even the central government was forced to give this demand. On October 1953, a new state of Andhra came into being, which is now known as Andhra Pradesh. So, this was how Andhra Pradesh was formed. Fine. Now, after the creation of Andhra Pradesh, other states they also started demanding their own separate states, like a state reorganization commission was set up, which submitted its report in 1956 recommending the redrawing of districts and provincial boundaries to form compact provinces of Assamese, Bengali, Oriya, Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada, Telugu. So, for all of them, they wanted a separate province. The large Hindi speaking Telugu of North India was also to be broken up by several states. The little later, in 1960, the bilingual state of Bombay was divided into separate states like Marathi, Gujarati speakers separated. 1966, the Punjab, it was divided into Punjab and Haryana. Punjab was for Punjabi speakers, almost mostly Sikhs, and Haryana was for Haryanvi speakers. Fine. So, this way the states were divided. You can see the map, children. Fine. So, this is how the partition took. After partition, different states were formed. Now, planning for development, children. Now, lifting India and Indians out of poverty, building modern technical and industrial base. They were also the major objectives of the new nation. In 1950, the government set up a planning commission. What was the work of planning commission? To help design and execute suitable policies for the economic development of the country. There was a broad agreement on what was called a mixed economy model. So, for both the state and the private sector would play very important role in and complementary roles in increasing production and generating jobs. What specially these roles were to be: industry should be initiated by the state and which by the market. How to achieve a balance between the different regions and states was to be defined by the planning commission. So it was all work done by the planning commission, how to do, what to do, when to do. Fine. In 1956, the second 5-year plan was formulated. So what was in the second 5-year plan? It focused strongly on the development of heavy industries such as steel and on the building of large dams. These sectors would be under the control of states. The focus of heavy industry and the effort of state regulation of economy was to guide economic policy for the next few decades. So, this approach was very strong and had many strong supporters, but some critics were also there. They felt to put inadequate emphasis on agriculture. Fine. So, others they said that neglecting primary education, that this commission is neglecting primary education. Still, others they believed that it had not taken account of the environmental implications of economic policy. As Mahatma Gandhi's follower Mirabai wrote in 1949, by science and machinery, mankind may get huge returns for the time, but ultimately will come desolation. We have got to study nature's balance and develop our life within her laws if we are to survive as a physically healthy and morally dependent descent species. So, for the development, some people were against it also, children, because they were saying that we should always keep in mind about the maintaining the nature's balance also. Fine. So now the last topic, children, the nation 60 years on. Fine. So in 19 sorry in on 15 August 2007, India celebrated 60 years of its existence as a free nation. How well the country done in this time, and what extent has it fulfilled the ideas set out in its constitution? India is still united, it was still democratic. That was the major achievement we might justly be proud of, children. Whatever they said, we were working on that. Many foreign observers, they felt that India will not be able to survive as a single country. It would break up in many parts with each region, each linguistic group, and they all wanted their own separate nations. Some people, they believed that it would come under military rule. However, as many as 13 general elections had been held since independence, as well as hundreds of states and local elections. There is a free press as well as an independent judiciary. Finally, children, the fact that people speak different languages, practice different religion, and has not come in the way of national unity. So India was still united after 60 years, and that was the main thing to be proud of. On the other hand, deep divisions persist. Despite constitutional guarantee, the untouchables, or as they are now referred to, the Dalits, face violence, discrimination in many parts of rural India. They were not allowed to access to water sources, temples, parks, and other public places. And despite the secular ideals enshrined in the constitution, there have been clashes between different religions, groups in many states. Above all, as many observers have noted, a gulf between rich and poor has grown over the years. Some parts of India and some groups of Indians have benefited a great deal from the economic development, and they were living in large houses, they are having expensive restaurants, they are eating in expensive restaurants, they are studying in expensive private schools, foreign holidays. At the same time, the other part, the other people, they are below poverty line, housed in urban slums. People are living in slum area, remote area, and they were very little of them were there, those who can afford for the children education. So the constitution recognizes equality before the law, but in real life some Indians are more equal than others, judged by the standard it set itself at independence. The Republic of India the Republic of India has not been a great success, but it has not been a failure either. So we can't say that it was successful, and we can't also say that it was, not successful. So both ways. So this was the end of the topic, children. End of your 8th standard syllabus. Thank you and have a nice day.